I am Rosie and
James
from Pearson Casting.
Hi, I'm Ali from Ali Coffey Casting. Today I'm outside in the countryside to keep my sanity.
I'm Brendan McNamara from Beach Casting and I'm on the board for the CDA.
Hi, Tree Pets here, casting director, CDA member.
And we are here today with a how-to on all things around casting on Zoom.
Other than Zoom, what other platforms do you use for virtual castings? Well, I suppose at one point it was, I can't even remember the bloody Skype. I can't even remember the name. But now it's more Zoom because everybody seems to have it.
But also lots of people use Google Meet. There's also StreamYard and
Microsoft Teams.
So, how are Zoom castings structured? Will I get a time slot? How do you know when it's turned on? Do you normally start with chit chat or go straight into the scene? So, taking the first part of it, it's structured like an ordinary session. You should get a time slot. Hopefully we're running to a time. You will be invited in. You'll get a notification to join and then you'll be invited in to join, like on any Zoom call. So have your camera turned on and be ready to go.
Make sure you're there just like a normal audition, 10 minutes before, and expect to at least give yourself 10 minutes after, 15 minutes after.
You in, and hopefully if someone's running late, they'll write something that they're running late. So you'll know in the chat section if you have to wait at all. We've been doing a lot of Zoom auditions and there's lots of technical problems. If you can hardwire, it is always best to hardwire rather than rely on Wi-Fi. But have an understanding. Be kind to your other actors that might be really struggling with their technology. There's so many things that can go wrong. So be in the room 10 minutes before in case we're running early because maybe an actor has really struggled and we've gone, okay, look, come back when you can get that sorted, if that's possible. And then expect to be sticking around 10 or 15 minutes after your slot.
Do you normally start with a chit chat or go straight into it? It depends on the director. Some directors love a bit of chit chat. Some casting directors love a bit of chit chat. Sometimes when we're halfway through a day, we want to get straight into it to keep going, keep on schedule.
We should have that chat with you like normal. You know, the chat is very much about getting you relaxed. It is always nice for us as well to have that chat with you.
So, second question. Do I have to have a plain background? Can I use Zoom virtual background? Can I dial in and out when out and about?
Good question. So ideally, yes, you would have a plain background. So you can see behind us we have a lamp and we have a lovely Gustav Klimt. These are just a scene setting for us, but if I were to be taping something for either a self-tape or for a Zoom audition, I would either take this picture down or find another neutral space.
Plain background is great, but I'm more interested in if it's better lit. So this is well lit. Background isn't plain, but it could still work. If you have a plain background that's well lit, fantastic.
Just make sure that whatever is behind you does not detract from you.
Zooming in while you're out and about isn't great, isn't advisable, because often the angles aren't great, the sound isn't great. Obviously, we'd want to see you, but I'd probably rather rearrange. Again, that's just my opinion on that.
Just find a nice, neutral, calm, quiet space for you to do your audition. And dialing in from out and about, we really would strongly not recommend doing it on the bus. The more you can find a place that, as we said, is nice and quiet and calm, you're not going to be disturbed with noise, and you have that lovely time to focus with the casting director, the better your audition is going to be.
And note to virtual background, it can distort the face and make things unclear.
What lighting do you need? It really will do you incredibly well if you can get like one of those ring lights. Now, there are different sizes and they're not very expensive. We actually have one on now.
I have here this. Now, this is quite helpful.
There are ring lights that fit for phones, and then you can get quite large ones. So the phone ones are sort of this size, and there's an attachment for your phone, exactly like we have set up now. And then you can have really large ones. If you can't afford that, any natural light is great. So make sure the natural light isn't behind you, because you will go completely dark because the camera will fixate on the light behind you. Make sure the light is always in front of you, just like if you're on a set or on stage. The lights want to be brightening up your face.
If you can shoot by a window, for example, I'm by a window here, it's pretty good lighting, I'm pretty clear. That works very, very well. If you can afford a ring light, then that's also very, very good. So yeah, ring light or natural.
Is it okay to use a headset, earphones? It is okay. I kind of think it's probably better if you have nothing taking away from your face.
If you have a wire to whatever device you're using to record, it could get in the way if you are given some direction. You pull it out of your ear and all that.
Earphones, I'm fine with. Headphones,
That being said, if you chat to the casting director and you say, I'm going to get my best sound by using AirPods or so on and so forth, we do a lot of singing Zoom auditions, then of course we'll try them out. But you've got to not rely on it working. You've got to know that if that fails, that you have a backup. That's the key, have backups.
Where is my eyeline? Now, there you go. I've been looking at myself chatting. Now have a look at my eye lines. That is if I talk straight to camera.
So eyeline on Zoom calls should be slightly off camera. Okay, just slightly off camera. It shouldn't be down the lens unless it's requested.
I usually think that if you just go a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, that draws people in. That's much better. Now, obviously, this depends on where you sit, because at the moment, I think my computer's quite high.
Normally we say, look just off camera. But no harm to just ask at the very start, would you like me to choose an eye line? This side of camera, somewhere else in the room. No harm to ask if you're unsure. Or if you're just making a call for yourself, just to the left of camera.
What happens about getting script and submitting your head sheets? Everybody works differently. For example, I work with Dropbox, so we email our appointments, which should have the script for you and a link to a Dropbox where you fill in the forms and drop your forms into the Dropbox, most likely along with the footage.
Generally, as any audition, everything will be pre-done by email or however that's done, through your agent, or if you're not represented, through you. So exactly like a normal audition, you'll be sent stuff to then send through.
So quite often now we're going to ask for a headshot and a body shot on said head sheet. So, as long as you've got a couple that are really recent in your phone, you don't have to run off and do a headshot and a body shot every time we ask you. But make sure it's no more than 1 or 2 weeks old, literally. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be that recent if you're just using something, if you're just using a shot on the head sheet.
But again, everybody works a bit differently, so read the instructions, please. Thank you.
Who will be on the call? Will I be able to see everyone?
Some people will be on the call but will stay off camera and will just be listening in, watching and listening in. Most likely it'll be a director, producer. In advertising, obviously some creatives or agency producer might also be involved.
It might be the director and a casting director. It might be, if it's a dance audition, there's just a choreographer meeting you and not other members of the team.
It's more at the recall session. I think there'll be more people. And yeah, you might very well see them. I mean, it depends how you set up your Zoom, because obviously you don't want to have necessarily a gallery setting. You probably want to have the person who's speaking, on your computer, so that everybody else is little icons, except if the director or myself speak to you, we come big, and then you speak and you're big.
Sometimes if you're dialing in from a phone, you don't see the other people, you only see you, because we often pin you because we're recording you.
If you're told you're going to be recorded, I would assume that potentially from the minute you go out of the waiting room and into the audition, that you're being recorded. This helps the casting director not stop-start between every single person. But again, we might sort of say to you, okay, that's great, lovely to meet you, we're going to go for a recording. But sometimes when we tell people we're going to record, it all falls apart, and it's easier just not to remind you that you're being recorded for somebody else. And again, that should always just be for internal use and to be shared within the creative team for people who can't be on that Zoom live with you.
I roll camera via Zoom like I would in a casting studio. So you'll hear me saying, camera rolling and action. So that's camera on and that's us away and recording.
Next question, are Zoom castings going to become the norm? Does this allow you to see more actors per role?
Well, certainly at the moment they're the norm.
So we're doing a lot of first session self-taping and then second session Zoom live recall.
For TV and film, we have cast through Zoom only and Zoom meetings. For theatre, there's absolutely no way that would be.
Nothing compares to being live in the room and seeing you.
Can we see more people?
But no, it doesn't allow us to see more actors. It's more or less the same kind of a day, 10 or 7 minute slots.
Actually, we are taking a lot, equally as much time as we would on any other casting in terms of who we send out to.
My top tips, I would say a few of them are just very similar to what we'd say about all auditions. The first thing is you want to listen. You want to listen to the direction you're given because it's been given for a very definite reason. Next thing, oh, thank you. I'm getting a flower from my casting assistant, Freddie. Say hi, Freddie. Hi. And so you want to listen. Then you want to be prepared. Always know your lines. Always know and be off book for everything. And also visualization. So if your scene is taking place in a hotel room, maybe it'll help to know where the bathroom is, where the door is, where the TV is. So it'll feel more real if you know where you're setting your scene. And probably most importantly, for screen acting and auditions in general, is to not do very much. To listen to the lines, assimilate the information, and give your lines back in your character, as your character, so that you're not telegraphing your emotions, you're not signposting them, you're not putting them out there for us to see. We're just going to know it because you're feeling it as the character. So basically, main tip is don't do very much at all. It all happens in the character's head. Sounds quite simplistic, but it's like walking and talking. It's harder than it looks.
Good luck. Keep trucking on. Commercials have been brilliant about they've been really fast in coming back. I know that feature films and television and things taking a little bit longer, but fingers crossed, folks, fingers crossed that we are all working hard very soon, and keep positive.